A couple months ago, I started going on dates. This was the first time in my life that I started going on dates because I had a girlfriend years ago, and when we were no longer together for a number of years, I was just on my own. However, last year I decided that I would maybe start exploring the opportunity to meet people again. So, about middle of last year, about June, July, uh, roughly that time, I started going on dates. And the learning from going on these dates has been tremendous. I've learned more about myself in these months of going on dates than any time I think before this. And I wanted to maybe share some lessons I've learned or maybe some reflections. And maybe if you're kind of also on the stage of kind of meeting people, maybe this would also give you something to reflect on. I remember for my first date, I was very, very nervous, understandably, and obviously I was well. I mean, I tried to present myself as best as possible, so obviously I dressed and whatever. And I remember for the first date, I was so busy trying to basically be the version that this girl told me she was interested in. I was trying to be the best version of what I thought this girl would want in me. In essence, I was not at all being myself. She was. I remember we talked on the phone before even meeting, and she was talking about what she wanted in a guy and everything. And I felt like I was so caught up, kind of thinking about these metrics the entire time that I was with her, that I was not even being my authentic self. And after that, obviously, we it was a couple hours that we were together, and we had a fun time. And then I remember messaging her afterwards, and she gave me all the indications that she wanted to meet me again. She said, "Oh, I had such a fun time with you. You're so funny." And when we were together, she genuinely, I think she had a really fun time. And it was after about 4 hours that I said, "Okay, I think we both have office together. Let's leave it here for now." So I think she was keen to keep like hanging out. So that gave me the indication that she was uh, keen to meet again. However, she later messaged when I asked her if she wanted to meet the second time, to say that she wasn't sure that there'd be any long term potential here or whatever, and that's fine. However, I was so heartbroken after this first date, and I was so disappointed. However, this is where a great lesson came, um, and that was that the person you meet or go on a date with owes you nothing. They literally owe you nothing. So you don't need to be offended if they don't want to meet you again, or if they take ages to reply, because they literally owe you nothing. This is essentially just a test to kind of see if you're getting along, or if there's some connection, or if you're vibing, and that's pretty much it. So if they don't want to meet you again, even if they give all the indications, that's totally fine. And I know it can be a tough, bitter pill to swallow, but really they don't owe you anything. So just remember that. And I think when you're going into the dates, you won't need to worry as much. Another lesson, obviously, I was not very authentic for my first date. I was busy trying to make this person like me, and trying to be what I thought they wanted to see in me. And obviously, this kind of sucked the fun out of the experience for me, because I felt like I wasn't even being myself. As the dates went on, as I started going on dates with different people, I started to understand the importance of just showing up authentically. When you are being your authentic self, then you are able to attract someone who likes you for your authentic self, and that's the easiest thing. Then you don't need to play a character, you don't need to try and be someone else. It's the easiest thing to be yourself. And when you are very comfortable being yourself, then if someone likes you, then that's great, that's perfect, you can continue being yourself. And if someone doesn't like you, then that's also great. And the reason that's also great is because, as per the law of averages, the more no's you get, the closer you are to a yes, or in this case, someone that you are compatible with, someone that will like you for who you are. And the same is the other way around, it's reciprocal. So think about it that way. Whether they like you, that's great, and if they don't, that's also great. So I think the way I started approaching dates now is, in the beginning, it's how can I make this person like me? How can I make this person like me, and how can I get their acknowledgement? And if they don't want to see me again, oh no, that's a reflection of my value and my self esteem. Now, how I'm looking at it is, if I'm meeting someone, I'm thinking, how can I give this person the best time with me, how can I, when this person is in my presence, how can I let them know that they are listened to and valued, and how can they just have the best time with me? Whether or not they want to meet me again, whether or not I want to meet them again, that's irregardless. Let's just work on how we can make this a memorable time and a fun time, and how I can give this person the best part of my energy with no strings attached, with no expectation of this going on to a second or third date. Let's just have fun. And one more thing is that you'll come across some interesting experiences. I've learned so much. Like, there were some, girls I was talking with, and I felt there was a good connection, and maybe after meeting, they would block me all of a sudden, or maybe after texting, all of a sudden they'll block me. This might happen with you, and just don't take it a reflection on your character. As long as you're being respectful, sometimes you can't read what's happening in other people's minds. Maybe they're going through something, whatever it may be. But remember that you don't need to take things personally. At the end of the day, people are just there to kind of see if there's some sliver of compatibility, and if there isn't, then just like move on. And it's easier said than done, but I think the more you kind of meet people, the more you'll understand not to take things personally. And ultimately, just when you're meeting people, just bring your best energy and don't worry about what they have to say, as long as you're essentially your authentic self. Another point I've learned is that if the other person does not want to meet you, there have been some times where I wanted to meet the other person, but they didn't want to meet me again. And there were times where the other person wanted to meet me, but I did not want to meet them again. Bottom line is, both ways, I believe it should always be respectful. If the person that you want to meet again has made it clear that they don't want to meet you, I think the best thing to do is be fully respectful and wish them the best and move on. And I know it sucks to like have expectations and then have that torn down, which is why I'm saying try not to have expectations when you're going in. Just be your authentic self, and that way I don't think there's any significant expectations, because you're not playing up to a character, you're just being yourself. And if you're being yourself and someone likes you, that's great. If they don't, that's also great, as we talked about. If they don't want to meet you again, the best thing you can do, in my opinion, is just to wish them well and move on. Remember that when you are basically wishing someone well, you are not only representing yourself, but you're also representing, very importantly, men. So you want to show that you're a respectful person, and this means wishing them well and moving on. Try not to dwell on it. If someone is saying, oh, I'm not sure, and all this, in my opinion, I don't think it's worth trying to convince someone of why they should actually not be on the fence and why they should like you. Or if she very clearly is saying, I don't want to meet you, I don't believe it's worth the time and energy to try and convince them. If they are into you and they want to meet you again, that's perfect. However, if they don't want to, the energy put in to actually convincing them might be better put into trying to meet another person who will actually appreciate your energy and be a yes instead of a no or on the fence. This is just my opinion. So this is some stuff I've learned, and the main thing I've learned in this process is that the way I first approached dates was, how can I make this person like me? Now the way I'm approaching dates is, how can I just have this person enjoy my company and my presence, and how can I make this person feel valued and acknowledged? Whether or not I want to see this person again or they want to see me again, how can I just make it a wonderful and memorable experience for both of us, where we both have some kind of a fun time that we're sharing together and it's memorable. I hope that this video or reflection was insightful for you. Maybe take what's useful and discard what is not useful. This is just my experience and my learnings, and I'm very sure that they will evolve over time. But bottom line is, I really think that as a guy, if you are approaching dates authentically and you are being yourself, then it's very likely that you will find someone to match your energy, as long as you're being yourself. Thanks very much, and I hope this video was insightful. Bye.